broadcasting through GetVokl and YouTube's secure Foundation-approved servers. We are currently pulling up the response chat on the YouTube server. We are stabilizing the signal as we speak. Thank you, Foundation staff, for joining us this evening while we get ourselves all organized and together. Stabilizing. Chat. All right, that's better. We don't need that sound effect coming. So that's nice and muted. The chat is on. YouTube is ready for action. Testing. 1, 2, 3. These mics are hot, so are we. And let's get it started. Hey there, Foundation staff. This is Level 2 researcher Theron Sherman, but you can call me Sherm. Welcome to another Anomalous Broadcast from Site-42. For those of you unfamiliar with our show, the rundown goes like this. I read you an SCP document, and then I open up the floor to the community to discuss what we have just read. We're often visited by SCP authors, staff, and fans, and if we're lucky, the author of the article themselves shows up to share some insights. Tonight, we are going to be reading SCP-4467, titled, Oh, I Get It Now, written by DarkStuff. DarkStuff will be joining us after the reading to discuss his story and various other questions I or the audience may have for him. Feel free to communicate through the YouTube chat, the GetVokl text chat, or join us in the video chat once the platform opens up. And so without further ado, please turn in your textbooks to tonight's anomaly, SCP-4467. We open with a Department of Miscommunications warning. The following document is not necessarily incomplete. As such, it is the true file for SCP-4467. However, it acts as such for all personnel without Operation Blah training. To gain access to the true SCP-4467 document, contact Dr. L.K. Tolkien. Item number, SCP-4467. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Site-31 containment engineers are to defer to Operation Blah alumni of Level 4 4467 clearance or higher on issues regarding SCP-4467's containment. At least 20 Operation Blah alumni are to be available in Site-31 for all SCP-4467 related activities, such as research, relocation, containment, etc., for at least 12 hours each day. If a week goes by without this requirement being met at least 4 days of the week, a new draft of personnel are to be entered into Operation Blah until it can be met again. Though further containment procedures exist, they are unable to be communicated to personnel without Operation Blah training. SCP-4467 researchers are recommended to enlist in Operation Blah. To enlist, personnel may contact Dr. L.K. Tolkien at Site-31 or at his email lktolkien@scp.departmentofmiscommunications.skipnet. In the event that Dr. L.K. Tolkien is unavailable, contact any personnel of Level 4/4467 clearance. Be prepared to wait up to 2 weeks for confirmation or denial. Description: SCP-4467 is a linguistically elusive collection of matter, with conveniently indeterminate size, weight, composition, etc. With conventionally indeterminate size, weight, composition, etc. It is primarily orange in color, but the majority of other details of SCP-4467 are connected to concepts not conventionally found in any languages on Earth. Notably, the languages that come closest are Basque, Japanese, and Veda, as determined by a Department of Miscommunications study which ranked over 1,000 terrestrial languages in terms of how close they come to communicating a wide range of anomalous concepts. Details that are unable to be easily communicated about SCP-4467 include shape, rigidity, acidity, color to an extent, texture, danger, and mobility. Note that other details are unable to be listed above. In an attempt to subvert SCP-4467's communication inhibiting properties, the Department of Miscommunications has created Operation Blah. Progress is underway. Addendum: Operation Blah. An intensive program designed to build neurological pathways necessary to communicate about SCP-4467, Operation Blah is run by the Department of Miscommunications, or DOMC, and uses linguistics, including graphology, the study of writing, and paralinguistics, to enable Operation Blah alumni, those that have gone through the program, to read, write, speak of, and more deeply understand anomalously obtuse concepts. Personnel will have more success in Operation Blah if they are under 30 years of age, are bi or trilingual, speak an isolated language, are unfamiliar with etymology, and or travel regularly to countries with native languages different to theirs. For personnel meeting 3 of these conditions, Operation Blah has an 80% success rate of instilling an understanding of and ability to communicate specific anomalous concepts. Operation Blah has also been found to produce an increase in mimetic resistance, a deeper understanding of anomalous languages, and a heightened sense of emotional comprehension in alumni. Operation Blah requires 8 months of uninterrupted training by DOMC personnel of level 4 4467 clearance or higher. Operation Blah is the most successful if the enlisted personnel are not given any research assignments. However, because this is often unable to be accomplished, DOMC recommends that personnel are not involved in any linguistic anomalies, nor anomalies that in any way affect cognition. Accessing clearance, SCP-4467. Accessing SCP-4467. Authenticating. Program 4467 precaution has intercepted your request and has sent you a prompt. Respond? Yes, sure. Program 4467 precaution. Read the following sentence. Sidebar. This is the point where level 2 researcher TheeSherm is going to do his very best to translate these DOMC concepts into English. This is going to be laughable at best. I wish you the best of luck. Or I wish me the best of luck. I wish you the best of entertainment. Oh my. John renang to the well car ipsisly in the morning, which was very profound. Program 4467 precaution. Please repeat the sentence into your desk mic with proper pronunciation and inflection. Activate microphone 5. Mic activated. Program 446 precaution. Success. The Department of Miscommunications welcomes you. His Ray, SCP-4467. SCP-4467 accessed. Somehow, miraculously. Item number, SCP-4467. Object class, esoteric. Special containment procedures. All Operation Blah personnel and alumni are to read the public version of this document to understand relations with average personnel. All personnel that are not Operation Blah alumni or DOMC personnel are to refer to Operation Blah alumni for research and containment purposes of SCP-4467. SCP-4467 is to be contained in a high-level Barreseltanian cell, outfitted with tislimness detectors. The containment chamber is to be large and roll-estrois, and security cameras are to be checked thrice weekly, twice weekly if SCP-4467 is in the state of reduced or mitigated sharpness. In a containment breach, the Department of Miscommunication Task Force, Mobile Task Force Null Alpha, Lexicon Sewers, is to fail hard return to nail the list until 4467 is once again contained. Description. SCP-4467 is a linguistically incompatible limited store, particularly notable for possessing galilatids as opposed to highlights. In SCP-4467, which has been noted to on a regular basis, which renders it capable of causing near instantaneous high lexical parade in victims. The object is abnormally chattered for a in its size, but not to a degree that constitutes a secondary anomaly. SCP-4467's potential for retard and brain activity outside of a bounded E3 lepstone is unknown. Pasulcus. SCP-4467 is known to induce pasulcus in observers that lack Operation Blah training. Pasulcus is considered a non-anomalous phenomenon, beyond being unnamed in any language, but is currently poorly researched due to being beyond SCP-4467 rarely achievable. Consequently, it is unknown whether or not pasulcus creates generally positive or negative changes in brain chemistry. Pathulkas can be approximately described as a temporary state during which a person and or sapient being thinks without the use of words. It is therefore unachievable through SCP-4467 for any personnel with Operation Blah training, but easily reached for any untrained mind through extended contemplation of SCP-4467. Of note is that Pathulkas is often considered with Lithium of Wernicke's area, with the primary difference being that persons experiencing Pathulkas remain fully conscious. So far, limited research has been found that sufficiently deep or long-term Pathulkas can severely limit communication skills, induce dyslexia, cause spatial disorientation, increase receptibility to foreign ideas, increase comprehension of foreign concepts, hasten tactile and auditory learning, enhance creativity and local amnesia, enhance the ability to improvise, reduce psychological damage from memes and cognitohazards by an average of 60%. Due to limited research, it has been determined that the safest option is to keep knowledge of Pathulkas restricted to Operation Blah alumni and selected SCP-4467 researchers. Edit. Pardon. Edit. March 16th, 2024. After extensive research and tweaking of Operation Blah protocols, a repeatable discipline has been developed that allows the user to voluntarily switch between Pathulkas and unpathulkas. Various personnel with manual Pathulkas, or NP, have been given positions in every major Department of Miscommunications project. Productivity and efficiency have risen 300%, while spending has fallen by 50% per project. In consequence, the Department of Miscommunications was given the Roger Tarpon Award for Outstanding Departmental Innovation in 2023. This makes DOMC the 8th department ever to win the award. Operation Blah has been considered a success. Well, I hope you enjoyed my voice actor faces. Oh my. And so at this point in the recording, I am going to unlock the GetVokl windows so that our good friend DarkStuff, as well as any other authors, staff, or fans of the SCP who would wish to join us, can jump in and join the conversation. And so windows are open. I'm going to say hello to Floppy Phoenix and Elegy, who are here in the GetVokl chat. DarkStuff, welcome.
Hey.
What do you think of that thing that just happened?
That made me laugh out loud.
Oh,
it was
keep coming. They don't stop coming.
Yes, it was wonderful to hear someone actually attempt to pronounce that stuff. Wow, I'm sucking as well at normal English. But I know that one other person did a reading of sorts for this. It was Blue Soul on his podcast.
Oh, fantastic.
But he just skipped over the words. He just said, I can't pronounce that. And so you went the extra mile, and for that, I give you great respect.
Gotta commit no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It was very funny. And it was also especially great when you said Pasukas for the first time, and I was like, oh, he's going to be saying that one a lot. That was a very humorous choice for that pronunciation that happened many times afterwards.
I did not remember that was going to be the common word, and that is how I suffered for it.
Oh well. Perhaps, like, maybe someone can actually go in and, like, figure out what all the weird symbols actually should be pronounced as, and then figure out how to pronounce these words.
I would donate to that person's Patreon so fast. That would be a dedicated person.
That would be. It should be Malice. Malice Aforethought. He created the words in the first place, so.
Malice, we're begging you. Malice, we're begging you.
But yeah, that was awesome.
To get our interview started, first question, where did this idea come from? Spin us a yarn here.
Okay, so this was a big brainstorm between myself, Icepick/Mortos, IKEA guy, and and Malice in IRC. I think I said that already. It was Icepick who started with the idea of, I don't remember exactly what it was now, but I know that the general idea was that it was an anomaly that couldn't be talked about in normal ways. That's literally all I remember now, because this was, I mean, when was 4467 published? It was almost a year ago. So almost a year ago this happened, and he never made the article, but me and Malice spun ideas off of it as part of like the department that would handle anomalies such as this one. We're like, ooh, we could do that but slightly different and make it a thing. And me and Malice committed and came out with 4467 and oh, forgive me, I forget the other one's number. SCP-4517, which is at plus 288. Jesus.
Woo, big hitter.
Yeah, very. So it's a little weird because Malice, me, and Icepick basically came up with the idea for the DOMC at the same time. I published the first article, but that doesn't make it my thing. Then Malice published the second article. But then Icepick, who is the true, like, if he wanted to publish an article, he would be the originator of it. He hasn't touched it since. So I guess it is his baby that he's kind of given to other people.
I've got an interruption and then something I've got to tack up to that. My interruption is that I'm going to shout out Kaiman Chameleon just came into the chat of GetVokl, and I'm calling him out because he made this flippin' sweet art that I'm going to gush about like a proud papa because it looks so cool, and I'm so excited. He made these Site-42 researcher backgrounds, and like if it were the right size and like I wasn't in it, if I had just like that background, I would start using that for like the background for the stream because that's so dope. I like that a lot, and thank you, Kaiman. That is so cool. I've been gushing all day. I showed the people at my favorite restaurant in town. I was like, I'm having a good day. There's art. So yeah, that's just my sidebar. I'm gushing, and so
that was to add to your sidebar a little bit. That was me when I first got Mendelssohn fan art for Brainy Brian from my Tale series Bend a Friend. I just got that, and I was like, oh my god, I need to show everyone.
It's such a nice little community, and we all make these things for each other and stuff. So cool. And so, as my tangent to what you were talking about, getting back on subject, it's crazy that the Department of Miscommunications took this long because there are so many articles that are this thing what can't be described except a special way.
Yeah, right.
My first article was SCP-3086, George the Chinchilla, which is object that can't be described in writing because it will create an instance. And so there are so many articles like that where it's this what can't be described except for obliquely somehow. I can't believe it took us a decade to have a Department of Miscommunications.
Yeah, I realized after we made it, we were like, okay, so there are two articles that already fit the bill. Taboo, so SCP-4000 Taboo is 100% Department of Miscommunications territory. And then there is SCP-2521, the one that's only pictures, is also completely Department of Miscommunications territory. So in my headcanon, those are under the wing of the Department of Miscommunications, but they weren't written that way, which is fine.
Fantastic. All right, so tell us this journey from the beginning of this SCP to where it started. Were there any major changes along the way the story flowed?
Oh, so the first thing that I had in mind was an object that can't be described with normal language. And some people have rightfully pointed out that perhaps the anomaly is not actually the object. It is the fact that there are, in our language, there are these blank spots that aren't covered, which would be very, very strange. But I just started with that, and then the story resulted. And the story is a very, people have rightfully pointed out, is a very anticlimactic and very subtle one. I mean, tell me what you think the progression here is.
I mean, what I read is that, we found this thing that's similar to SCP-055. We can't describe it for reasons, not that we can't remember it, just because we can't find it. And then after researching it and dealing with it and going into that Pasukas place and dealing with everything involving it, eventually they found a way to start doing it, but only amongst people who are like in the club of having figured it out. And so yeah, like you mentioned that this is after the fact, and yeah, this is something where it's not a narrative, it's a success story.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. There is it is very much like you're not following as they figured it out. You are following the aftermath of a successful operation. But beyond that, there's also the idea that, I mean, the Department of Miscommunications found bazookas, and they kept it to themselves for due to limited research. It has been determined that the safest option is to keep knowledge of bazookas restricted to Operation Blah alumni and selected SCP-4467 researchers, is the line that comes directly before their edit that says that using it has increased productivity and efficiency by 300% and lowered spending, which is perhaps a
I
little
like
slimy on their part.
I do like that that's like, we are again finding a way to use an anomaly safely for our purpose, or at least safely for now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that narrative came about afterwards. I just realized while writing it that I thought it would be interesting to insinuate that the Department of Miscommunications is being a little slimy and secretive. Um, Otherwise, there wasn't really much change since from conception to execution. I don't even think this got that much critique. Oh, wait. No, only 3 people critiqued it, which is actually pretty low for my usual. So.
And by the way, now I'm going to take off on another tangent from this. Funny, I'm going to go like full Matt Pat for a second. Excuse me. Soapbox armed. So it's so interesting that this is like the anomaly that you went with, is that we can't describe it for some reason, but there is that in real life where several languages lack the words to describe something. And because of that, it changes our mindset and how we view things. The two pop psychology things that I can come up on the front place is that in Eastern culture languages, the way you describe things is not the same way it's described in Western cultures, where
Yeah.
in American culture, it would be like he broke his wrist. And, you didn't actively go and break your wrist. You didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. And in Eastern cultures, the way the language is dictated is the wrist was broken. And so because it's not, it doesn't sound so blaming, it's not as aggressive of a language. And then
there's also there's also a thing in Spanish that's very much like that, where accidents are phrased as if no one is to blame. It's like, I didn't forget your birthday, the birthday forgot itself to me, is an actual thing that you would say in Spanish, which I think is hilarious.
Exactly. And then even in a different way of the same thing, typically men and women see different amounts of colors because typically, at least in American culture, women have more words for colors. Like going to paint swatches at Home Depot.
They do?
Yeah. Like imagine the difference between white and eggshell. And you're like, what's the difference? They're the same color. It's actually because your brain sees them as the same color because you don't have a separation. They went to cultures that have a farther limited vocabulary, and things that were an object that were 2 colors, like say, what do I have that are 2 similar colors? Gosh darn it. So this is gray and this is black, or like different gray. So these are 2 different colors, but they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
If your culture only had the word black, it didn't have light gray and dark gray, your eye would visually see them the same. And then like mentally it would process as the same color until someone told you, no, this is light gray and this is dark gray. And then you go, oh, obviously those are 2 different colors. But
there's there's a Vsauce video about that actually, which is really neat.
Yeah, go do your research on the brain, guys. It's super cool. And now we have like an SCP that's all about that.
Thanks. So, what
else? Let's see. So you mentioned critique process already. I'll jump on. So how do you feel about how the Department of Miscommunications has taken off since you wrote this article?
So, the Department of Miscommunications is just about the 3rd thing that I have been involved in starting. that has actually gone. The first was Wilson's Wildlife Solutions. The second was my Wondertainment canon, which I love. And then there was this, and I actually haven't followed its development nearly as closely because probably I haven't felt as connected to the concept as is because Icepick originated it, and then me and Malice kind of had equal parts in expanding on that. And Malice has had much more success creating Department of Miscommunications skips. I mean, you can just the one that you read just now is at plus 113, and his one, which was the second one, is almost at plus 300 right now. And I think he has another one of Department of Miscommunications that is also at plus 200. And so I feel like I might have posted the first one, but it's really become more of Malice's thing. In fact, sorry, I was about to jump ahead, but I'll let you ask the questions because I know what the questions are coming.
We prepared. Can you believe it? We prepared. So yeah, jumping ahead. Have just because I did it on the show already, and it was a really good episode and a really good SCP, that at least in my view. Have you read, or did you get to read SCP-4428, otherwise just known as Dr. Michaels?
Yes, I have read Dr. Michaels. It was what's the number on it? 4428.
Yeah.
I think I left a comment. I think I won't look too long for it in case I haven't. But yeah, I'm not sure that I left a comment. But it's been a while since I read Dr. Michaels. I know that it really confused me, which is perfect. What I really like about the Department of Miscommunications is it is a baseboard for creating puzzles. Not totally incomprehensible nonsense, although it can be used to do that. But like creating, if you have to describe something in an obtuse way, you have to try and parse what you're reading in an obtuse fashion, try and like work around the restrictions that the writers have, which is really neat. Hi, Rockney. So Dr.
Department
Michaels
of
was an
Miscommunications is ideal for smart people to write about. I'm not smart people.
Yes, precisely. The Department of Miscommunications is clearly the peak. That's what the entire site's been going towards, and I'm glad to be here.
I remember reading that article and then us like going over it with, I think it was Henzoid in the chat, and then Floppy like gave us a foreword, and I'm just going down the list and I'm reading it and we're going over it, and at the end I was like, oh my god, I think I have a thing. And, like,
I didn't have that moment actually, which was really weird. I read the whole thing and then I was like, I still have no idea what was going on. Like, I know that Dr. Michaels is clearly not okay because clearly, I don't know. I don't know if I have more to say about it. It's a good article though.
I say we're all not okay after that article. Rockney, do you have anything to ask of DarkStuff while you joined us?
Anything to ask? Let's see. Not particularly. Again, the Department of Miscommunications seems to be the ideal way to like make a concept for it. Seems to be it has to be out of everyone's depth to understand, but still has to have enough implication to get what's going on. One that I'm particularly fond of is let's see, it's SCP-4773-2 and a stuffed bear. It's very good. Not ideal for the audio medium exactly.
That's also by Henzoid, by the way. Both of those are by Henzoid.
Yeah, both of those are by Henzoid. That's absolutely correct.
Who just jumped in? I was tabbed out.
Human Chameleon.
Oh,
all right. Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, kind of with the snipe fact. Also, oh my god, yes, I wanted to do this as like an SCP reading, And I just got to get better at like putting images in my SCP so it can go along with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess like how do you start with a concept in Department of Miscommunications? Obviously, you start from a place where it has to be very roughly understood. So how do you get to a point where it's both in that uncanny valley of where the author is the one that holds all the information and only gives enough of it away to where it's going to be entertaining?
That's hard. I've always had a hard time describing my creative process because to me it just feels like suddenly things come to me.
Absolutely.
Which, yeah, it's just, oh, godlike. Just the idea comes from the heavens, and then suddenly I write something. Like, that's what it feels like, but I know there stuff happens. But I can tell you that there are 2 Department of Miscommunications ideas that I have currently. One was one that I wanted to make, actually maybe 3. One was one that I wanted to make with Henzoid, which was about a, I guess this is a spoiler for if it ever comes out, but hopefully it won't matter. It was one that I wanted to collab with Henzoid because Henzoid is really into Departments of Miscommunications, and he's written a bunch for it and is planning on writing more. And he and I had the idea of making an item that you can only know one thing about at a time. So how would you make that feeling come across to the reader of like, and then how would the people in universe write about it? And then, because what I like most about the Department of Miscommunications is when they're given a problem and then they solve it, which is why I wrote SCP-4467 the way I did. So what if the articles, our idea was, what if the article starts with a sentence saying, SCP, you can only know one thing about SCP, whatever its number is, and then it goes on to describe everything about it, and you're like, but you said I can only know one thing, and trying to figure out a justification in universe for how the Department of Miscommunications got around the anomaly to write a normal article, kind of like an anti-format screw. Like an article that should be a format screw but isn't, was the impetus, and that was really fun to conceptualize.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the grounding is mostly in like lies of omission for Department of Miscommunications, which it's not a bad way to work things out because it creates that basis for implicit information, which is what puzzles are all about.
Yeah. Sorry, one more idea before I let the podcast continue. The other ideas that I had were a Wondertainment Department of Miscommunications crossover in which it was just discussing what happens when you try and talk about Wondertainment, or sorry, talk about things. Oh my God, how do I put it? It's about the Wondertainment trademark, and their trademark being anomalous because they use it so much. It's in all articles. It's like a thing about Wondertainment is that they trademark everything. Well, I was thinking about them having an anomalous trademark and then trying to figure out what that trademark would do to, what's the word? It's like ideological properties, but it's not
intellectual
ideological.
property.
Yes, thank you. Jeez, it's an intellectual properties, and then trying to describe them and get around their trademark, which would be fun, I think. And then I don't remember what the third one was. Sorry. I know there was a third one, but I've forgotten it.
Quite all right, quite all right. As we wind down to the last couple minutes of the interview, I got to ask the standard final question, which is, do you have a favorite or multiple favorite SCP or tales on the wiki outside of your own work?
Yes. SCP-1193, The Buried Giant, is phenomenal, and everyone and anyone should read it. It's amazing. I always forget what the number is, but whatever SCP is, The More You Know, by Soul. Let me find it. It's The More You
3512, it looks like Elegy is saying.
Yep, he's correct. So, 1193, Buried Giant, is mind-blowingly amazing and creepy and weird. 3512, The More You Know, taps into like one of my deepest uncomfortabilities. That's not a word, but it's about the creepiness of pickup artists. And
Oh,
it is, yeah, it's disgusting and really well done. And it's at plus 368, and it honestly deserves more. Like, it is not overrated. It's amazing. And fun fact, it references one of my skips, and I didn't even know until Soul told me. I read it and didn't catch the reference, and then he pointed it out, and I was like, what?
tell us the
So-
reference. Tell us the reference.
The reference is, so it takes place in Barcelona.
Barcelona for the
And
locals.
Barcelona, yes. And I have an SCP called On the Barcelona Skyline, which is actually my first ever SCP, SCP-2728. And there is a line. Let me find my comment on it. Oh no, there's 100 comments on this thing. I don't know if I'll be able to find my comment. Oh no.
Man, 100 comments. You'd be real surprised to see that anymore.
I mean, I have an SCP that has 77 comments on it. Okay, I found my
That's
comment.
not 100 though, DarkStuff. Get real.
No, it's not, but it gets there. Also, you are correct in noticing that people comment less, and people need to comment more.
Oh yeah,
Need.
absolutely.
I hate how few comments there are now.
Discussing the writing
But-
and discussing the tropes is integral to helping the community grow. We are a writing community, so the more you can talk about the writing, the better. Also, before we continue, I'm just going to tell Tiger Jin in the YouTube chat, the number for the pickup artist one was SCP-3512, called The More You Know. Continuing on.
Mm-hmm. So, the line in SCP-3512 is, quote, "Hot here, hotter than Boston was, and no breeze to speak of. Agent Ray met me at the hotel last night, offered to show me the city skyline. I said no, thought we'd get going, but he was in no hurry. Cultural thing maybe? Shame if I was rude, but I could do with the sleep." And the idea was that he was actually trying to show her SCP-2728, which is like a local harmless anomaly that appears when you look at the skyline of Barcelona. So that was very subtle, and I did not see that at all on my first read through.
Very neat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tales though.
Ooh.
To be very cliche, the Cool War is amazing, and everyone should read it, not leave it.
Do not leave it. Actually read it.
Do not leave it. Reading the Cool War all the way through was actually like, it kind of marked a point in which I was getting way more into the site. And reading that, I was like, okay, I got to be here more. And then I started writing a lot more.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience. Cool War
Yeah.
does something. I wish Random and I were more active because I really want him to finish up Wills and Ways. Holy crap, I need more of that. I have considered donating to his Patreon. If I knew he was going to do it, I would do it.
Yeah, but you want to see that he's actually going to deliver.
Yeah, exactly. If he posts another one, I might do it.
Yeah.
No, do it the other way. Flood him with like donations and say, hey, I'll bump it up if you do the thing. $1 now, but show me you're working on it. Give us some like excerpts.
Take a month of leave from your job and just write this thing for me.
Yeah. And I want to say from the Cool War, I know there's a video of it out there somewhere, but it's not on YouTube, and I feel like it might be just lost time. But there's a video of me in like my sophomore year of high school doing a performance of one of the scenes from Cool War, specifically the Joey Tamlin scene where he's showing off that he's made celery that tastes like cheese.
Oh yeah.
I played Joey Tamlin, and I got my friends to play the other characters in that scene, and we performed that scene, and it was awesome. I love Joey Tamlin, so.
Yeah, that tale is just like great dialogue too.
The other tale that I would recommend, one of few things on the site that has like, it's hard to get me to just like feel stuff. I feel like a stone cold, but not in the cool way. I just feel like unfeeling sometimes. But let me scroll up and yeah. I stared into the face of everything and nothing and made it back alive by Sunny Clockwork was the last place I expected to get like deep feelings, but it's a it's a tale because I don't particularly like SCP-3999, and then it's a tale where the conceit is a ship. It's a ship between Talaran and Kondraki. And so who would have expected that to be extremely good, but it's extremely good. So I would highly recommend it. Very, very good. Also, it's at plus 97 and it deserves plus 100, so go bump it. Go bump it to plus 100.
I'm gonna go bump it because I think I read that one and forgot about it. So what's the name of it again?
I can just link it. But it's I stared into the face of everything and nothing and made it back alive. Here's the link.
I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
I know that not only am I a huge 3999 stan and will defend it to my dying breath as a very good piece of art, but going through
I upvoted. It's just overrated, I feel, but that's me.
when Decibels made like that whole canon like tale series. It was a tale series about like Talaran,
Like Clockwork, right?
Like Clockwork. That was some serious feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am
I also, you know what? Am I allowed to just shill for something not on the site that's also not by me, but has made me feel things, and it's like really surprising.
Shill.
Okay. Worm by Wildbow is amazing.
Why do I know
it's a web serial. Right? It's like everyone has heard of it, but no one's read it. That's what I've noticed when I've been recommending it to people.
Is it horribly just like grotesque and curse words everywhere and like really not safe for work?
No. I mean, it's not safe for work, but it's not like grotesque. Like that's not how I would put it. It's not safe for work only in that it's grim dark. But no, it's like a young adult story that follows a teenager that gets superpowers, and you think that it's like, I don't know, I did not expect it to be nearly as good as it was, and it surpassed all expectations, and it made me cry twice. So, highly recommended.
Oh yeah, I think one of my voice acting friends was reading this for like their audio like book practice. I think that's where I remember this from.
It's good. It's quite good.
Have to look at it one of these days. Everyone else can go look at Worm by Wildbow as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
nothing to do with SCP, but
I know I said last question, but I do have one more because I asked this to new guests, and that is,
gotcha.
Outside of the SCP Wiki, do you consider yourself a writer? Are you a professional writer? Are you a hobbyist? What are you?
I am. I am most certainly a hobbyist. I do consider myself a writer, but I have not expanded outside of the SCP Foundation yet. I started writing here, and I have yet to make the jump into writing elsewhere. But I do have some plans. I mainly want to be a musician, which is a dream that is not panning out so far because I just don't have, it feels like I don't have the skill required, but that's a different conversation. But in terms of writing, I am thinking I've already made 2 tale series on the site, both of which are short novel length. They're 60,000 words or more. That would be Venda Friend and Dancing with Rachel. And they are, I'm very happy with them. They're very clearly amateurish. They're like, you know, the type of stuff that you would expect to find on the site. Not professional, but enjoyable, hopefully. And I thought, okay, both of those were positively received. And I'm going to write one more tale series that's way longer called Take It Away, My Darling, that I'm writing with Uncle Nicolini, actually.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's
I think I remember reading some of it, and I nearly passed out just because long works are just.
Yeah, no, I am all into long works. Long works are my medium. And after I finish that like really long one, if that gets positively received, then I'm going to try and write something not SCP related, a book of some sort, and get it published. So
Amazing.
that's
We'll
the
be
plan.
looking forward to seeing that when it comes to fruition. One of these days, you can come on the show and just show your non-SCP stuff.
Hopefully. It'll
But
probably take a long time, though.
and until then, we'll have a lot more good SCPs from you as well, I'm sure.
Probably mostly Tales, actually.
Ooh.
But maybe a few SCPs. I'm just
Everybody-
definitely leaning towards Tales.
Everybody in the chat, go read Tales. Tales need
Go
more
read
love.
Tales. More Tales. Why am I not centered? There. Yes, everyone needs to go read more Tales. Tales need love.
And so I think at the 45-minute mark, that'll bring us to the end of our show. And so thank you, DarkStuff, for joining us and describing your article. Thank you, Rockteeth, for joining us for the friendly chat version. I will bid you guys in the YouTube audience and the GetVokl chat adieu. Thank you all for joining this anomalous broadcast from Site-42. Become a patron, like, share, subscribe, all of that YouTube and GetVokl jazz. And we will see you guys in the next stream. Good night and good luck, Foundation staff. Woo! Off.